What's up, y'all? Man, there is something in my eye, and it's like, of course, when I sit down to finally record, like, I've been waiting to do this all day. Now there's something in my eye. What's up, y'all? Here to talk about Battlefield 6. As you may or may not know, it dropped on Friday. Some explosive numbers, 1 million people waiting to play the game, 740,000 concurrent players on Steam at one time. I think we can all agree the game is a smash success on launch day. Now let's get one thing straight. This is not a COD bashing video. I do feel like they need a reality check on the chin, but ideally, hopefully this competition, this renewed competition between them will foster something great, and next year they'll come out the fences with something even better. Hopefully. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about Battlefield and how fun this game has been just from day one, just from the first 5 to 6 hours I played it. Just to give you some context, I'm kind of a dopamine player. So like I'm playing Rush, I'm playing Breakthrough, and I'm dabbling in Escalation. For those of you who don't know, Rush is just a mode where both sides, one side's defending, one side's attacking. You try to run up and plant the bomb, the other side tries to defuse it, and you have like X amount of lives. I think it's 75 lives to try and get rid of both bombs and then progress to the next section and keep doing that until you win the game. Breakthrough is the same thing, or Rush is like 12 players each team. Breakthrough is like 32 players each team. And then the number of tickets is like 275, is way higher. Very, very dopamine heavy. You're just running in there. You're just trying to slam into the objective, take the enemies out, maybe flank, do a big play or something. It's very fun. It's just like the beta. The game didn't change a lot from the beta. My aim felt a little weird. I've been trying to touch up the ADS settings to kind of slow it down because it feels like I swing really crazy sometimes off target. But overall, after lowering the sensitivity a little bit for aiming, it feels a bit better. But there's still some things that need to be worked on. I'm just thinking, I'm like 1,000-year stare into the distance thinking about the ADS settings. But overall, it's all good. The gameplay, like the shooting, the gunplay feels phenomenal. I will say that those are not going from having all your attachments and stuff from the beta to not having anything was a little rough for those first handful of games. So I was able to get my hands on like a grip. Once I put a grip on there, it felt a lot better. I think you just have to be careful with the range you engage with. I'm using Assault class. I'm using that default M433 for now. And it's a good gun in my opinion. I haven't really had any issues where I'm like getting rolled with it other than like up close with SMGs. I'm using the shotgun. The shotgun, I think they've toned it down a bit. People are still complaining about it. Sometimes I do get crosshairs. I find more success with it if I ADS than if I shoot from the hip. I've looked at all the gadgets and stuff, and the breaching ladder is a cool adjustment for the assault class. Don't find a lot of use for it on defense, but on offense, I find it pretty good. I need to get a new gadget, but I just have to level it up and put it on, I guess. But yeah, assault's been my go-to class. Once I level 20 and start going through the packages and unlocking the other stuff, like I'm probably just gonna go class to class and just play, just go and level them up, unlock everything, move to the next class, do the same thing. Tons of camos for progression and stuff like that. I personally am not doing any kind of camo grind or chasing, but it's cool that it's in there. Getting into the maps, I feel like I mostly play Rush, Breakthrough, and Escalation, which let me go back and talk about Escalation. Escalation is kind of weird to me because it kind of feels like Conquest, where it starts off and there's flags and you can go to any flag you want to, but it kind of feels like because everyone scatters and goes wherever they want to, it's like a lot of small engagements, kind of random gunfights here and there. And then as you start to capture the flags and actually progress, like if you grab, if you hold 3 flags, then you get and you hold them for like a minute or two, you get a point. And then one of the flags that are available, I think it's A, B, C, D, E, F, I think G or F or G, however many there are, will fall off. Like 2 of them will fall off or 1 of them will fall off, making it harder to get the next 3. And then you rinse and repeat that process until first to 3 or first one to 3 points. So by the time one team gets down to 2 points, it's a lot harder to score on the enemy team. It kind of gives them a chance to refocus and hit those other flags. And then that's when it gets crazy. And then it's like a weird game of Rush where you can attack an objective from like any angle you want to. Vehicles and stuff are kind of spawning in as flags get captured and taken, which is kind of nice because it motivates you to grab a flag. The way you can get a little more firepower to go take the next one. So it's Escalation is good to like mid-end game, assuming both teams are trying and going back and forth. It can be very competitive. There's no tickets. It's just like the clock and just holding the flags. So like that's kind of nice while allowing people to like really throw their bodies at the flag if they want to. It's a little slow burn at the start, but then it picks up pretty quick. Assuming both sides are trying though. That's assuming both sides are trying. It can be good, but it's kind of hit or miss. Rush, even in a bad game of Rush, if you and your team are fighting and pushing, trying to take the objective, you can still frag out and get kills like crazy and still lose the game. And and it doesn't feel quite as bad as Escalation does. So Rush and Breakthrough are still my favorites, but overall, I'm having fun with the game. Haven't played with a lot of vehicles, and Rush Breakthrough is like mostly tanks and jeeps and stuff like that. Not a whole lot of helicopter action happening, but still having fun. I don't know if I'll go Conquest for that stuff. Just touching on the maps here, I don't have them all memorized, but they all kind of have they're different. Like Operation Firestorm is cool. There's like Olympia, which is like urban warfare. There's like 2 or 3 urban warfare maps, and they're very like diverse, even though it kind of feels somewhat the same. But what I will say is that there's one map, and it's like it feels like you're like in Iran or something, or like a Black Hawk Down mission. Forgive me if that comes off as, you know, like I want to use the R word, you know what I mean, but for YouTube purposes. But like hopefully it doesn't come off that way, but that's just the vibe it gives. And there's like you have to get over like this hill, and it's like the choke point is gnarly, like there's just no cover, and it can be kind of hard to push through. Like it's I feel like the maps have some serious choke points, and it just comes down if it's a team diff. If the teams are evenly matched, then you know it feels like you need a little bit of luck to get through there. Like someone's got to really pop off, and that doesn't always happen. But that's how the game is. There's a lot of RNG, a lot of different players. They can really go either way. So like that's okay. It's not like I get stuck every single time we play that map, but there are some noticeable choke points where it's just like, man, it's brutal getting through here. Or if your teammates are sitting in the tank and they're not pushing with the tank, that's frustrating. You can't really do anything about that until they die, and then someone else takes over. If they die, because usually they're in the tank, they're in the spawn trying to snipe with it, which is annoying. But overall, I think the maps are okay. They definitely don't feel like too much of a copy paste. It's just there can be some choke point issues, but maybe it's skill diff. Maybe once the deploy beacons and stuff like that start to come into play, and somebody breaks through, sets up a beacon, and now we're attacking from behind, and you know, like maybe that will compensate for that, and then those kind of situations won't happen as much, is what I think. Because I was recon when I was playing the beta, and I was constantly using beacons to get my team in closer to wedge in, you know, draw focus from choke points, and then my team was able to punch through at that point. So we'll see, but overall I'm having a lot of fun with the game, playing with some buddies. It's just action, just running, you have fun. You know, it doesn't feel like there's a meta or anything like that. You just pick a gun you want to use, you run out there. As long as you aim up at the right spot as you're going through a doorway or something like that, you can win your fight. Sometimes you get smoked, it happens, you know, but as I'm having a lot of fun with the game. It's just been you're just carefree. No one cares about their KD. People are just playing the game. People are just having fun. And I feel like we needed a shooter like this. You know, we needed a shooter where you just drop in, you can unplug and have fun, where you're just running around. You know, like, I mean, of course you want to not go super negative, but if you do, who cares? You know, if you break even, who cares? You know, it's just different. It feels like with there's a lot of people running around, it's just kind of like everyone's just doing what they want to do. Whereas like when it's 6v6 and people are checking the scoreboard and all of that, it's just way different. The only other thing I'll say about the game is that it seems a little kind of grindy getting your weapons. I know I just started, but I played for 6 hours, and like I went up like 10-15 levels. I didn't play 6 hours straight. I kind of mixed it up a little bit, like 3 here, 3 there, or maybe 2 here, 4 there, like later in the evening at night. And like I felt like I made progress, but at the same time, I don't know, I went up like 15 levels. I was like level 0 on my AR, and it's like in the low 20s. So I mean, I guess it's progressing quite quickly for me. I don't know, maybe it's because the beta capped at 20, and I can't explain it, but I think the pacing's okay. I think maybe there's just way more to unlock now than there was during the beta. But, you know, I'm having fun. You know, day one of the game was a blast. I love the memes and stuff, the cinematic stuff I'm seeing on social media. I feel like, you know, the game is doing really well when you see a bunch of social media posts and people doing goofy things and all of that. That's how you really know if a game is doing well or not. And I hope it continues. I hope Battlefield sees success. Hopefully the stuff with Saudi Arabia doesn't play too big a part on it. Hopefully they're allowed to be independent. Well, maybe not independent, right? Someone paid $55 billion for your, you know, your brand, your studio, your publisher, whatever you want to call it. They're going to have some influence, but hopefully that doesn't dilute the Battlefield experience, and hopefully it continues to thrive into the next year and future Battlefield games, and we can continue this first-person competitive scene, or not competitive scene, but competitive friendship between Call of Duty and Battlefield, and we continue as consumers to get more games. I'd love to hear your thoughts if you have Battlefield. Where are you at on it? If you made it this far, like, sub, comment. You know, really appreciate it. Y'all stay safe out there. Hopefully I see you on the battlefield. Peace out. Hopefully that wasn't too corny. Peace.